welcome back to Figuring It Out, a podcast curated especially for entrepreneurs, leaders, business owners, marketers, and creatives. My name is Kevin England, and I am the proud founder and CEO of Onazon, a full-service digital media agency that caters to clients worldwide. In each podcast, I take the time to discuss relevant topics affecting businesses today. I pull from my own experiences, as well as from stories of other people, and provide you with helpful tips, advice, and guidance in hopes to leaving you with a meaningful message. So in today's podcast, I'll be discussing a challenge that many businesses in this current COVID-19 environment are experiencing, and I'm going to say this with emphasis: limited hireable talent. And I'm sure that really comes as no surprise to many that the pandemic has completely changed the way in which that we work, communicate, and even feel. And these feelings have impacted what many employees are now expecting from their jobs. In comparison, COVID-19 has also changed the demands of employers as well. And I'm going to go into detail about some of these evolved demands and then how you can better navigate through this new era of limited talent and, more importantly, increased expectation. So let's dive in. So as the spread of COVID-19 is slowly moving towards containment, people are starting to regain hope for a better tomorrow. Work environments that were once uprooted as a direct result of the pandemic are still surrounded by a great deal of uncertainty. Even with vaccination rates, rising, consumer spending soaring to all-time high again, and the lockdown finally ending, surveys continue to show that millions of adults do not want to go back to work. And it's not related to the fear of contracting or even spreading a virus. According to Forbes magazine, there are nearly 4 times as many employees aged 65 and older as there are employees under the age of 25. And while 23.9% of all of the overall U.S. workforce is under the age of 30, this statistics is only true for 6.2% of federal workers. So what does that all mean? It means that a large chunk of people currently employed are soon nearing retirement. And a significant portion of positions are mainly filled by older generations, especially in government and federal positions. What does that mean as far as this dilemma? Well, there's more people leaving the job market than there are actually entering the job market. And interestingly enough, it's not because there's a shortage of demand. In fact, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, 916,000 new jobs were recently posted last month by all U.S. employers. So what's causing this national dilemma that we have? Well, Forbes theorizes that a possibility associated to this and a reason is the scarcity of this talent is because younger generations are more interested in private sector jobs since they feel that federal and government workplace culture is way too stiff and way too bureaucratic. And since they've had a lot of time to think about their needs, their wants during this past year, they now have a better idea of what it is they're actually looking for and searching for when they're seeking for jobs. There's one thing that I think we can all agree upon is that this lockdown made us all prioritize our mental and physical well-being. So now, fresh talent entering the job market is not as complacent as talent from, let's say, several years ago. They're coming in strong with a certain set of expectations that they want fulfilled. They are now, seeing an increased value. In fact, we are now seeing an increased value placed on things like company culture and work-life incentives, work-life balance, and even healthcare benefits. In fact, a recent global analysis conducted by Manpower Group showed that 8 out of 10 employees want more remote work to attain a healthier work-life fusion, a topic that I previously talked about in my last episode. And with these trailblazer companies such as Twitter and Square really allowing, employees to work from home forever if they choose to, employees are starting to seek out jobs with employers that better match their newfound needs and requirements. So if your company is likely behind one of these prime areas currently prioritized by younger job-seeking generations, then you may be experiencing limited interest with your desired target audience. Or the interest that you may be receiving may not be from talent who embodies your desired capabilities. And even though evolved job expectations play a role in why certain jobs are going unfulfilled, there are still other things that you want to consider. And according to the Wall Street Journal, there are other unique reasons why adults are not eagerly returning to work. For example, many people are receiving more money on unemployment benefits than they would necessarily receive from available jobs. And this, I think, very well is the reason why jobs from all sorts of sectors like restaurants, manufacturing, to even construction are finding it more difficult than usual to fill their open positions. In fact, this weekend, my wife and I were going out to breakfast, and we were going to a place where we're very friendly with the owner, and he was standing out in front of his restaurant as like the host outside. And I asked him, I said, why are you out here acting as host? Normally you're in the back. And he said, well, because I'm having such a challenge filling roles within my restaurant, such as a chef. I can't even open at night, he says. I can't even open at night because I don't have a chef for the evening time frame. So I'm waiting for all the other chefs to get off work. So as they come by, I'm stopping them and seeing if they want to work for me at night in the place that they're working for during the day. That's just crazy. What's more is that many businesses are reopening ahead of schools, making it difficult for parents to find people who can watch over their children and guide them through these online classes. This is yet another reason why people are really not rushing back to their posts as quickly as they might have been normally. Even further, we'd have to take into consideration those who use their entrepreneurial spirit to take advantage of either a found or a honed hobby during the lockdown that they were able to turn into revenue or profit, eliminating their need to go back to work for someone else. And I know that firsthand because where I got the sign above me was from a guy who did exactly that and now has an amazing business building signs just like the one above me. However, not only did this pandemic create a shift in employee needs and wants, it also created a shift in employer needs and wants. And according to the Harvard Business Review, another reason for the talent shortage, may be from this sudden technological shift that we're all dealing with. And even though that there was this rapid digital progression over the past decade, it took this pandemic to truly accelerate digital trends and our dependence on technology. Prior to the pandemic, most companies, they delved into digital transformation in some way, shape, or form. But perhaps experimenting even a little bit with, implementing automation or artificial intelligence. But the crisis really did prove to be the catalyst for change. And as we now begin to emerge from the pandemic, companies are starting to realize all the ways in which they can benefit from upgraded digital models, such as, cloud-based systems over premise-based systems. And as mentioned in Forbes, we're now witnessing many companies reevaluating their business model and transferring a significant portion of their legacy estates into a cloud-based process to where they can now operate within this digital at scale model. This sudden shift in, fuel has really fueled the IT modernization movement. And with this shift, there has become, an emphasized need for employees who know how to navigate their way through these new technological, advancements. So I guess we have to ask ourselves, why is this such a challenge? Well, first of all, salaries for critical skills are already rising. And trust me, I know this firsthand. And now companies also need to consider the fact that there is a scarcity, of talent, especially talent that is well accustomed to technology, cloud migration, and other prominent technological requirements. Take my company, Vonazon, for example. It took my HR team several months to find someone to fill a vacant position that we had on our automation team. A talent shortage coupled with, finding someone with a specialized technological skills that we desired was really no easy task. And if you're anything like me, You don't want to cut corners when it comes to the quality of your team. My determination to properly fulfill the needs and the wants of my team fueled the desire to have our HR team keep searching until we found the right candidate. And that wasn't easy, and it took way too much time. But it is and was possible. And just yesterday, I was humbled to see how well our new hires were fitting in. And even now, we're still on the lookout for new additions to our company across all departments within our organization. So I know firsthand what it's like to search for new faces, on your team during a time of increased demand, yet insufficient public interest. It is really for this very reason that companies need to make sure that they address the areas of improvement prior to really enlisting in new hiring efforts. So with this heavily technological era that we're all dealing with, where employees are exhibiting a new attitude when it comes to work, here are 5 helpful tips that Recruitment Innovation Exchange encourages you and your company to take into consideration before going down this path. And number 1, create a disciplined sourcing strategy. Yes, my friends, we need to create a strategy around HR and hiring. Gone are the days of posting a job online and waiting for a response. During these trying times, you have to be proactive. Enlist in the help of recruiters. And trust me, I know paying 20% to a recruiter doesn't make any employer happy. But finding the right talent does. Or do what we do here at Vonazon. Offer a monetary incentive to all of your employees, encouraging them to advertise your company's vacancies amongst their peers, their friends, family, and their networks through social media and whatever else they can potentially post that information to. Number 2, go where the talent is. Instead of solely sticking to these online resources, span out, be creative. Here at Vonazon, our HR head likes to attend, college fairs to network our company, and our positions to those who will be entering the job force in just a matter of months. And I know that you might have to go through a training process with those individuals, but eventually you're going to get loyal employees out of it. Number 3, build passive talent communities. Prevailing within this talent shortage is really no easy task. So start a pipeline with your talent and make sure that you include people from all levels of experience. Yes, it means build a spreadsheet of talent. This way, when turnover occurs, you've already vetted and you've pre-qualified people who you can immediately choose from. And the faster you fill these open positions, the less revenue you're going to lose. And by the way, 2 weeks notice is not enough time to fill a position of a talented worker. Number 4, watch for new gaps. Complacency literally leads to incompetence. If COVID-19 proved anything to us, it's that this sudden shift can occur at any time and out of nowhere. Proactive leaders always have an eye out for the trends that may affect their staffing in the short term and even in the long term. Number 5, very important, never stop recruiting. Look for every possible opportunity to grow your personal network. Be aware of what your company is literally searching for, and make it a habit of communicating with others on a regular basis. I make it a habit to try to connect with everyone on LinkedIn in my area that has the skills and or the knowledge that I need, even if we're not ready to hire for that position. That way, they already know me, and I'm already connected to them. One more tip. During this post-pandemic lack of talent epidemic that we're all dealing with, I encourage you to be an inclusive leader so that your existing employees don't get swept away by the company next door, down the street, or even across the United States. And yes, we are competing with every company across the United States for this amazing talent. As we slowly start to make our way through these super crazy times that we're dealing with, the effects are still so real. Many businesses are realizing that they need a larger team, more hands on deck, more people on the bench. And finding talent, let alone the right talent, is proving to still be extremely difficult. But you can't get discouraged. Finding quality talent is still possible. So start with yourself and your company and ask yourself if you and your company can improve upon anything, and then start with that. Familiarize yourself with today's employer trends and make sure that your company is keeping up with all of them. I mean, the good news is, if you're starting on the bottom floor, the only way to go is up. So until next time, my name's Kevin England, and keep figuring it out.